You know what the most dangerous thing in America is, right? Nigga with a library card.
This is the Most Dangerous Thing in America YouTube channel, and this week on the podcast I talked about Frantz Fanon's Black Skin, White Masks, which is a seminal work of 20th century philosophy and psychology. And so I'm going to make a little short video here, and then hopefully at the end of the video you'll go to the video description and click on the link to the podcast, and you can listen to the whole podcast where I talk about the book in greater detail. It's not like an academic talk, just my thoughts on it, what I thought was interesting. And then you can follow the podcast on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you follow podcasts. And of course, you can click on the YouTube link here and subscribe here. That'd be great as well. So in the video, I'm just going to talk real quickly about one aspect of the book I liked. And that's going to be chapter 1, which was called The Black Man and Language. And what I enjoyed about this, well, there's a couple different things, but the first thing is Fanon's initial idea of language and consciousness being linked. So whichever language you speak, that's going to shape your consciousness. So he points out that as a colonized black person assimilates French, in his case, or English, as they assimilate this language, they become whiter and whiter, or if you prefer, they become more English or more French or more American if what they're speaking is American English. Okay, and to demonstrate this, the fact of language's power, he uses this quote by Paul Valerie, which I really like, so I want to read it here. He says, Paul Valerie described language as the God gone astray in the flesh. All right, that's a very nice quote. So there's a bunch of different studies about this. A lot of people have talked about this before. So this made me think of, first and foremost, the Kenyan writer gujiwa, Thiong'o, who writes in his native language and has called for African students to study academic subjects in their native languages when they're first starting school. And he's talked about a lot of different studies where it's been shown that it's easier for someone to first study in their native language, whichever subjects that they're doing, math, science, etc., study that in their native tongue, and then later translate anything that they've learned into their secondary tongue like English or French. And this is easier than if we force people to first learn English or French and then study those, academic subjects. So that's not exactly what Fanon is talking about, but it just made me think of that. The second thing it made me think of was the works of Walter Mosley. Among his many different things that he writes, one of the things Walter Mosley writes is the Easy Rawlins series. Easy Rawlins is this private detective kind of guy who lives in Los Angeles. He lives in Watts after World War II, and he kind of just helps out in the community. And throughout the books, he's talking about race relations in Los Angeles and the United States and whatever. He's a private detective, etc., etc. But in one of the books, Black Betty, Easy Rawlins is talking to this guy Jackson, who's kind of this street smart kind of guy, but also school smart as well. And everybody around the way knows that Jackson went to school, was super educated, but they're not sure if he finished college. So Easy says to him, "Did you ever get that degree from UCLA?" And Jackson says, "Shit, motherfuckers wanted me to study some kind of language. Man. I walk on the ground and I talk like my people talk." So I like this because it presents the kind of pushback against assimilating English, or in Fanon's case, French. And Fanon actually talks about speaking Creole and how he got in trouble for speaking Creole and how people who speak Creole are looked down upon. And that's kind of a similar thing with African American Vernacular English, right? AAVE. But some of us have pushed back and speak it, although in written English, especially academic stuff, standard American English is the norm. And for fiction, most people definitely still write in standard American English. And part of it is because writing in the vernacular is difficult. Like just now, I'm reading this Walter Mosley bit, and that's good, But if you're not black, probably you're going to fail at writing in the vernacular. And also, writing an entire book in the vernacular is a completely different thing. Like, you're probably not Zora Neale Hurston or you're probably not Irvine Welsh, who's writing in his own vernacular. That's a difficult thing to pull off. So most of us stick with standard American English. But that did make me think of, and this is my last point, then I'll wrap up here, that made me think of hip hop. And I started to wonder if the reason that hip hop is so popular amongst millennial American black people and younger, right? So anybody who's like around 40 and younger who's black probably, just a generalization, but probably listens to hip hop, is the reason it's so popular because hip hop has acted as a kind of black literature, right? That is exclusively black consciousness, and not exclusively, but generally driven by the black consciousness, informed by African American vernacular English. So it's the reason why hip hop has kind of overtaken any other kind of black music like jazz, funk, soul, etc. Is it because of its literary component, its emphasis on lyricism, and that lyricism generally being in vernacular, and so it's a language scape completely controlled by the black consciousness, and if that is what is part of its seductiveness and attractiveness. And I just find that interesting, and I would really like to know the answer to it. So if you know the answer to that question, or if you know of any books that discuss that, please comment in the comment section below. And yeah, if you want to hear me talk for about 20 more minutes about this book, also in the video description below, there are links, like I said, to the podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Pocket Casts, whatever. And yeah, please also subscribe to this channel, and I'll be doing a video once a week or once every 2 weeks about books that I read by black authors. And yeah, until next time, stay safe, stay black, and keep reading.